I'm going to talk a little bit more about the nature of reality today. Talking about UFOs and space alien beings who come down from other solar systems or even our solar system, maybe, and circle around the Earth in their little spaceships that look like saucers. And they land in the middle of the night and they capture hillbillies who are drinking out in the mountains and do anal probes on them, and they dissect cows in the fields and leave their half dissected bodies out there. And a lot of people believe this stuff. I was listening to the radio. They have this up all night show, George Norrie and a bunch of other people coming on there. And I was listening to this one the other night, which is one of their common themes about the UFOs coming down to Earth. And there was a guy that was on there who was their guest. He was claimed to be a doctorate in physics from the University of Chicago. And he said that he was in a debate at Oxford University, and I think that's what he said, and that the debating society voted him to be the winner by 66% of it's proving that there was alien beings coming down in flying saucers. And I was a little appalled by that fact. I mean, we're talking about, if that were really true, that Oxford University's people with science degrees and everything, and that whoever was debating against him, they should have me. I'm going to debate. I do not believe that there are alien beings coming down from other planets, landing on the Earth. Let me start out by saying, by what I mean, believe. The word believe to some people is like a cut and dry thing. They either believe something or they don't believe it. So if you're it's like a 0 or 1. You either believe or don't believe. With me, it's differently. I believe that is like a word that means there's about a 78% chance that it probably, judging from my personal experiences and my senses, that it is probably true by about 78%. If you're above 78% probability, then I believe you. If you're below 78%, then I'm not so sure. I might believe it. So there's some things that I believe some days and don't believe other days, for example, depending upon my mood and then which way the wind's blowing. But like for example, do I believe that the Democratic Party will improve the lot of the working class? See, some days when I feel good about it, I think yes. It's over 78% or above, and then other days I'm thinking to myself, no, it doesn't. So I'm below 72% or something like that. But with regard to the in aliens, I'm more like in the below 50%. I believe that's like about a 40 to 45% chance that it might possibly be true, which is less than a half. In other words, I don't believe it at all. I think that if you were to come up and show me proof someday, and that I couldn't deny the proof, I wouldn't be incredibly surprised. But from what I've seen so far, it doesn't seem real, and that's how I would rate my belief. So if you say you want to believe in this, it's kind of like you're not being very skeptical. The thing is, let me point out a couple of the points, and these are points that other people make sometimes, I think, is point is that, first of all, you can't argue and prove that there isn't there aren't space aliens. Proving a negative is a lot more difficult than proving something is real. If I wanted to prove beyond any doubt that there were no space aliens coming to Earth, how would I do that? I would have to be able to take anybody who was an outside observer and go to every single planet in the universe, and if I ran into any intelligent life on any of those planets, then I'd have to ask them, "You ever been to Earth?" And then they would say, "No." If there, and I believe there probably is other intelligent life in the universe, but I don't think they've come to Earth. You know, but that'd be a hard thing to do. Now to prove that there are aliens coming to Earth from another planet would be a lot easier to do. All you got to do is have them present themselves. Have them land their spaceship over on the lawn outside the building, and bring a couple of the debating society students on board and fly them around the solar system a couple of times and bring them back and say, "Look, see, we're here." That would be easy to prove. It'd be a lot easier than proving they're not here. Or else, shoot one down, or bring in the body of a dead alien and have a bunch of scientists, real scientists, geneticists, dissect them and do a genetic analysis and say, "This is completely alien genetics." That would be a proof. Nothing like that's ever happened. Now, the second thing you want to talk about, of course, is, and this is what they always talk about, is the space-time continuum thing that theories of Einstein came up with about, if you fly to the nearest life on another star, it might be like 100 light years away. So if you had to fly that fast, it would take, let's say you could fly at the speed of light, which is 186,000 miles per second. It would take you 100 years to get there, and then 100 years to get back, and how much time you spent when you got there, So it'd be like 220 years, let's say, before you got back to Earth. And then, everybody, that no person lives 220 years anyway. But it's not only that, but it might be 220 years there and back. But on Earth, it would be like 20,000 years because of when you go really, you can't, for one thing, you can't fly at the speed of light according to the current paradigm that Einstein believes in. We went from the biblical paradigm, then we went to Newtonian physics, which is largely still true in a lot of cases. And then the new paradigm, which is the Einsteinian universe, right? Where it says that if you travel really fast so that you can go nearly the speed of light, that the time slows down in relationship to where you were started. Because at that speed, time slows down relative to what's standing still. So, in other words, if you fly a year at nearly the speed of light and come back, it'd be like 50 years where you left, but you would only age a year. See, so under that, you would have to have alien beings who either could put themselves into suspended animation for 200 years, so that they only age a year. In which case, that's a giant commitment because where they went back to would be completely different from where they left. Or there's the possibility that you have giant spaceships that, the whole civilization travels in a giant spaceship and goes through many generations as they travel. See, and then the persons that actually took off from the planet in the first place aren't the ones who get to the planet that you got to, because it'd be like several generations later. Well, that's a possibility. Or the aliens maybe live 100,000 years. So for them to travel 200 years back and forth wouldn't seem like that big of a deal to them. And then there's what a lot of what this physicist said and everything is that they think that there is some sort of a way to travel faster than the speed of light. In other words, there's another physics that we don't understand beyond us that means that you can travel from 200 light years away to Earth, and you can do it in like 20 minutes, You have a special super duper spaceship that understands physics better than what we currently understand. And this is the thing that kills me about that. That guy says he's a physicist, and he's proposing that possibility, and I guess anything is possible, I mean, we could be living in the Matrix, the reality may not be anything that we think it is, the physical world doesn't really exist. There's all kinds of possibilities. But under the paradigm of the real world, the Einsteinian physics is right now what everybody believes in. And this guy who's claims to be a physicist, well, if he's going to say that the current paradigm is a bunch of baloney because he wants it to be a bunch of baloney so that he can understand how these guys got to our planet, well, that's not a very scientific conjecture. You have to have some sort of a clue as to what the new physics would be instead of just saying, well, I just don't believe the old physics, It could be, but here's the other possibility, though, is that these are not alien beings at all from another planet. They're interdimensional travelers, possibly. That's what a lot of these people say. They go from one dimension to another, whatever dimension is. See, dimensions are, I don't understand them completely. I mean, in other words, the universe could fit into a space this big, Here's another argument, though, I would make against the space aliens is that, and this is one that I've heard before, is that why are they always hiding? Why do the guys in the middle of Tennessee in the mountains, when they're out shooting up the woods and drinking moonshine, why are they always the people who always seem to run into these space aliens? Why don't the space aliens, do like they did in the day the Earth stood still? They fly their flying saucer and landed on the mall in Washington in front of the Lincoln Memorial, and come out and say, Klaatu Warara Necto, take me to your leader, I mean, why don't they do that instead of hiding all the time and being sneaky? And of course, as I say, reality could be something that we don't really understand, that we're all, in other words, what a lot of these folks say is that the aliens have been here and they have been meeting with the leaders of the world, and since they have such advanced technology and they're so far advanced, some people believe that the aliens are actually in control of the world, and they've been in control of the world since the time of the ancient Egyptians, or so that's one of the theories that go on. There's aliens among us. They've been here all the time manipulating us. See, if that's the case, then we've been living that way the whole while. So what's the difference? Why even worry about it? It's like my favorite SpongeBob episode. My favorite SpongeBob episode where SpongeBob gets a hold of Mermaid Man's belt and starts shrinking everybody by accident. It has a shrink ray on it. And he doesn't know how to control it, and he starts shrinking Squidward and Patrick, and he shrinks Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, and he shrinks everybody at Bikini Bottom, and they're all mad at him. So they say he can't figure out how to make them big again. So he says, well, I got an idea. And he shrinks all the buildings in Bikini Bottom and all the cars and everything all around Bikini Bottom so that all the people now fit the buildings. And then he turns it on himself and shrinks himself. Says, look, I fixed it. And they look around and they say, well, what's the difference? I guess that's okay, I mean, what is the difference,